Hey friends of mine, welcome back to Tech Tuesday, and it's number 7, even though it's taken like 10 weeks. So thank you so much for your patience as I have been out with the plague. I feel like I had a wonderful trip to Austin where I canceled on you guys so that, I could enjoy being Austonian. And then on the way back, I got the flu, was sick for a week, and then came back to school and got stomach virus. So this smiley face that you see on the screen in front of you has been through a lot, just so you know. But I'm so glad for those of you who are faithful followers and new followers. Some of you I met at TCEA in Austin, and you've decided to take the journey with me and come follow what I do on other days of the week. So thank you so much. What I'm showing you here is just a reminder that I do have a website. It's SuzyLolley.com. I have to spell it right and you'll get there. And if you go on the main page every week, I am posting a blog post that follows up with more detail on what we do on our Facebook Live. So every Wednesday at 8 p.m., just so that I have time to, add some pictures and embed the video, I have this follow-up blog post up here. So tomorrow at 8 p.m., you'll be able to see that. And you can always come over to my WordPress site and like it and follow it, and then you'll be able to see everything that I send. It'll send you an email notification, whatever you want. I also want to remind you that if you're looking at my Facebook site, which this is going to look crazy for a minute, I guess it won't let me go over there yet. But if you go to facebook.com/techlolley, I want to remind you that, hopefully I don't mess anything up going here, but I want to remind you that at the very top, my cover image, if you use a QR code scanner and scan this code, I'm going to send you my 10 best puzzles for Breakout EDU. So if you're using Breakout, but you're getting kind of bored with it, you want to try some new things, I have my 10 best puzzles here, and all you have to do is scan that code. And I want to thank the first 10 people who have scanned the code and have trusted me with your email address, because I send you this, I do not spam you, but I also am trying to build up my email list. So if you have a chance to go over and scan this code, visit my website, I would really love that. Also, if you're a fan of Pinterest, I always pin my articles over there, and I would love for you to pin and follow me over there and also repin. So all that advertising out of the way, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Are you an email hoarder? I want to know that. Are you someone who, if I were to come look over your shoulder as I did to my sweet friend Carol Whitaker one time, you would be considered an email hoarder? And Carol was not, by the way, happy with me when I looked over her shoulder and said, you have a kabillion emails. She said, maybe you can watch me teach and give me some helpful feedback there. She cracked me up so much because she's not sassy, but she was so sassy when I was trying to be the boss of her email. So what I want to do tonight as I talk about email is I want to give you 2 goals. 2 goals, and again, these are written in my blog post that corresponds with this. So the 2 goals for you on email, one of them may seem like, Suzy, you're crazy right now, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. Your first goal is to reach inbox 0. What? If you look over at my inbox, I clearly am not at inbox 0, but I am at inbox 10 for unread things. Does that count? But I will tell you, a couple weeks ago, I got down to inbox 8, and that was pretty daggone close. What I mean by that is you are regularly purging, cleaning up, dealing with your email. If you don't get to inbox 0 on a daily basis, which Michael Hyatt, Amy Porterfield, I listen to their podcast, and they will recommend inbox 0 every morning. I don't think I'm going to make it there. But I would like you to just make it a regular habit when you think of inbox 0 to think of how close can you get to 0? How manageable can you make it? Why? Because the more times you have to look at the same exact email and do nothing about it, you are bringing clutter to your mind and you are stressing yourself out and you don't even realize it. Because those of us who work, especially on the computer a lot, teachers they're teaching all day, but then they're looking at this email. It's not like getting a memo in our box years ago where we knew the urgency of it based on the color of the paper. Can I get a witness on that? So instead, our memos are coming in all the time, and we're so accessible that it's overwhelming. So your first goal is inbox 0. Your second goal, for a lot of the same reasons, is the One-Touch Method. And this one I have borrowed my own twist from Angela Watson. I've talked about Amy Porterfield and Angela Watson on a previous episode where I talked about podcasts you don't want to miss. So go to SuzyLolley.com or check out the videos on this Facebook feed, Techmas. I think it was maybe day 5 or 6. I talked about podcasts you don't want to miss. So anyway, the one-touch method means when you come into your email inbox, so I'm going here on a daily basis multiple times, your goal is to delete, forward, reply, then delete, forward, then delete. Or if you need to retain the information, I'm going to give you 2 thoughts on that. So let's start with tip number 1. So we're still thinking about the one-touch method and getting to inbox 0. And here's your first of 8 tips I want to give you tonight. First of all, if there's something that is time sensitive that you know you're going to want to come back to at a certain time, for example, I have to deal with this Seesaw sponsorship request. If you will click, and I'm working first of all in the Outlook client. So I'm looking at Outlook 2016 right now, but this has been a thing since Outlook 2010. So even if you're using an old version, this will work. If you will click and drag and don't let go until you're hovering over your calendar. I know that's small, but you will see a little plus sign appear on the calendar. And when you click and let go, this event is going to, or this inbox message is going to become an event. Now, the sad thing is it does not automatically pick up a date from the inbox itself, from the message. So you have to change that. So you just come up to your calendar, say, I want to deal with this tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm going to really tomorrow be like, what in the heck did I put this on there for? But tomorrow, 8 a.m., I want to deal with this. I'm going to save and close. And then, my friends, you delete it from your message. Suzy, you just deleted an email. Yes, I did, because it's on my calendar. I don't need it in 15 different places. The same thing, if you forward something, delete it. You've got a copy in your sent messages. If you, are replying to something and you're done with it, delete it. So tip number 1, create a calendar appointment if it's something that is actionable that you need to do at a certain time. Okay, here's my second tip. I'm a huge fan of Send to OneNote. I'm a huge fan of OneNote. I'm on the OneNote love boat. You've heard me say that. But let's just say that, I have something that I know I'm going to need to refer to again. For me, because I'm a technology trainer, it might be some technology tip that one of my friends has sent. So for example, Dixie Harper, fabulous, has sent me a calendar that I'm sure is very cute, and which I'm going to want to do something with. So going back to my home ribbon in Outlook, the full version, I'm going to click Send to OneNote. It takes just a minute, and it's going to ask you, hey friend, where do you want to put this? So a good habit to get in is to create your organizational structure in OneNote before you start using this feature. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm sending this to my quick notes section. Okay, and then guess what? I can delete it. Okay, it pops up here in OneNote for me, but I can go back and I can delete it because it's stored elsewhere. I don't need items in triplicate, especially in this digital world. So I could delete that and clean it up. Now, I don't really want to delete that. I'm just practicing with you, but I will delete different emails, okay, as I go. So tip number 2, send to OneNote, then you have it for later. The cool thing about send to OneNote as well is it saves all the attachments. So I don't know if you caught that, but I actually am getting Dixie's attachment right here. Even if it was like an email something, it would show me that Word document, that PDF, whatever it was. Okay, you ready? Tip number 3, and this one also works in the full desktop version, is the word cleanup. I did not know about cleanup until probably a year ago. I had never been trained on Outlook. So I don't know if you're the same as me. You've been using Outlook, or you've been using Gmail, or you've been using, I'll be funny, but AOL, whatever it is you use. You've been using it for a while, but you don't necessarily have any training on it. You don't know all the tricks. So here's a trick you may not have known, even if you have been an Outlook user for a long time, and it's the word cleanup. What cleanup does when you click it is you're going to click on an email. So for example, this says G2, and I have another one that says G2, and a third one that says G2. When I click cleanup, it is going to clean up either the folder, the conversation, or so let's see if this does what it's supposed to do, okay? I click cleanup. It says no messages were cleaned up, I guess because these titles are a little different. But what cleanup does is it'll sweep through your whole mailbox, not to be confused with sweep, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but it will clean up your whole mailbox based on like email chains. So for example, if I replied to something I sent, let me go find, let's see. I'm going to go to my sent messages. I should not have done that because it's showing people's names. Anyway, what it'll do is the cleanup will go through your email box and anything that is related to the same email chain. So see right here where it says if I had the original message still in my inbox, which I don't because I'm a deleter, whoop, whoop, you can be one too, then it would delete anything except the most recent conversation. Or if you said clean up my whole folder, it would go through and find anything that was part of a chain, and it would keep only the most recent conversation. So tip number 3, use the cleanup button if you have not tried that. Tip number 4 is not anything you have to do. It's just something you have to be aware of, a new mindset. If you have replied to something, if you have forwarded something, it is now in your sent items. If you're using, like our school is, cloud-based storage, this can go on forever. You don't have to worry about losing something. We used to have to come up and use this archive button. I'm not even going to show you that tonight because we have cloud storage. So why do I need to archive something when it's basically archived for me? So here's my tip for you. Tip number 4 is if you have already replied or forwarded, you can delete the message out of your inbox. You have a copy in sent items. Let that process for a minute. If I reply or if I forward, I have a copy in sent items. I don't also need a duplicate copy in inbox. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5. Y'all, I have all these folders over here, and some of these folders are so old. Like, for example, Bear Creek Middle School Redefined Learning Conference was a year ago. I'm not going to go present at it again for that same topic. So I can actually go down, right click, and delete the whole folder. And you might be like, oh my gosh, Suzy, I'm not asking you to delete something that you're going to need, absolutely indefinitely forever. But if there's something that you're not using anymore, it's something old, then why do you need to keep a folder on it? Okay? I don't teach Sequoia High School anymore, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to delete that folder if I want to. I can clean up folders. So that's tip number 5. For tip number 6, we are going to actually see this button up here, the archive button. Because it's right next to delete, I wish it were not there, and I have tried to find ways to get it off, and there's not a way except running a script, and I'm not that smart. But because it's right next to delete, sometimes I'm wanting to delete something and I accidentally archive. For example, I'm going to say delete here, and then I'll say, oh no. Give it a minute. It's only when you're watching me that these things don't work. I need to bring that message back, so I'm going to bring it back to my inbox. Okay, take 2. So there are many times when I'm trying to delete and I accidentally click archive. If that happens to you, and you really did want to delete it because I don't want junk, give it a minute to finish archiving, and then if you hit Control-Z, will undo, it'll bring it back, and you can do whatever it is that you meant to do with that message, which for me would have been delete. So if you ever get these mixed up, Control-Z will fix it. Okay, that was tip number, I think, number 6, maybe? Yes, we got 2 more tips, and for those, I'm going to go online to a mailbox that I never use because I'm trying to not show you too much personal information of other people. But I have opened a message here, and my next tip number 7, is going to be the word sweep, okay? Sweep allows you to basically, I'm going to show you rules in a minute, like full rules, but sweep is a subset of rules that are involved in the cleanup process if you're an email hoarder, okay? So here's what you can do. You can say, delete all messages in the inbox. Well, that would be very brave of you. And specifically, you have picked a message and it is basing the rule on that. So I've picked messages from myself, from my Gmail. Do I want to delete all those messages in the inbox folder? Do I want to archive them all? I've got 2 options there. Do I want to delete all messages and any future messages? So if there's somebody that's a creeper, then you might apply that sweep rule in that way. Or do you always want to keep the latest and delete the rest? Or do you always want to delete things you haven't dealt with in 10 days? Y'all, some of these rules are really brave. I don't know that I would do most of them, but I did want to show you the sweep function. And it does have some possibilities, especially if you're getting kind of spammy emails and you just want to quickly deal with them without having to go unsubscribe, but there is no unsubscribe button. I just want to show you sweep, and that works in the online in Office 365, okay? And then my final tip for you is the word rules, and you can do rules online. You can also do rules in the client version. So I'm going to just go back for a minute to regular Outlook, the client version. I'm going to right click on a message, and when I do, it brings up the word rules. When I go into rules, I have an automatic option, which is always move messages from. So I'm going to click that one just to show you what you can get here, what options you get. You can say, okay, every time I receive a message from so-and-so, I want it to go into its own special folder, and I can choose any of those. For example, Google notifications. I don't want to unsubscribe from those, but I want them to stay out of my regular inbox. Or this list serve that I'm a part of. I want to keep those, but I want to look at them on my time. I don't want them cluttering up my inbox. So that's another option that you have there. Okay. When I right click and pick rules again, and it is frozen, cancel. Oh my goodness, I just ran a rule by accident. Okay. When I click rules again, then I can go into my manage rules and I can fix the one I just messed up. The one that was something about G2. Yes, I don't want that G2 rule. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say delete. And it will remove the rule. It's not removing the email, it's removing the rule. Okay. But when you go into your rule manager, you can see any rule you've created, plus you can do a new rule. Move messages, flag messages, play a sound, send an alert. You have all kinds of things you can do there, but they're all helping you manage your inbox so that not everything lands here. And then finally, and a little bonus trick, this is number 9. There is a new trick, and it's here in the client version. It's also in the online version. If you look under your settings, you have an option to show focused inbox. Focused inbox tries to figure out what emails you read a lot, and then other ones that are kind of spammy or coupon-y or things that you just don't address very often. And it puts them in an other box. You will still see notifications at the very top of your inbox, but it kind of keeps you focused. So if you're looking for focus, less hoarding, that is my tip number 9. So just quickly again, your 2 goals are inbox 0 as often as possible, as close as you can get it, and the Onetouch method. If you want to find those 9 tricks that I taught you, 8 plus a bonus, you're going to go back to SuzyLolley.com, check out the article I wrote, and I hope you've really gotten something out of this. So if you wouldn't mind, in the comments section, share your favorite tip that you did not know. You can give me an ooh, ah, you can give me an emoji. And if you loved everything I shared, go visit my website, subscribe to my email list, share this with a friend. I would love for you to widen the audience and the scope of what we're doing on Tech Tuesday.